in the war for independence, breaking the back of the redcoats and winning our freedom. But when the Loyalist militia retreated, a select number of these Loyalist troops were hanged. Who were they? These hanged were the men who had originally sided with the Patriots. But when they thought a British victory appeared imminent, they went back to the side of the redcoats. It's time we single out some traitors who have taxed away your security, ordered away your children.
Come on!
And took away your livelihood.
Come on!
We may not hang them with the rope, but next year let's hang them with the vote. The principles of our founders will work today. Let's bind down big government with the shackles of the Constitution. May God save and bless these wonderful United States.
I heard the pastor say he brought some tar and feathers and they're in his SUV. Hey, for the people in the back, can y'all hear back there, way up there at the Capitol? Can't hear very well? All right, the sound system is as loud as it's going to get, but I will ask our speakers to get a little bit closer to the microphone so that you people in the back can hear, because we really appreciate you being here. And again, it's not just y'all. There are people inside of those offices right up there. We want them to hear more than anybody else. All right? Our next speaker is a retired sergeant in the United States Army. He served our country in the military. He did the right thing. He's now a self-employed businessman here in Montgomery with a business called the Computer Commuter. He is one of those people that has a target on his back because he's a self-employed businessman and deigns to employ other people. How about that? He's also the host of the First Call radio program that comes on WLWI AM each day from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So I'm proud to introduce to you Sergeant Kevin Elkins.
All I can say is airborne. Right. It's kind of hard to follow the pastor that just left. I can only say this. Abraham Lincoln once said that what we say here today will be long forgotten, but what we've done today will be remembered for a lifetime. To all the members in uniform who ever served this country, jumped out of an airplane, served overseas, whether it's Iraq, Vietnam, Korea, Second World War, and we even have some folks that have served in the First World War. To all of those folks, I say thank you very much to all of them, and I don't believe, I do not believe that any of them served this country and ever thought in the back of their mind that while they were putting their lives on the line and their families were back here sacrificing, that they would ever come home to a place that they didn't recognize anymore. I don't think that they ever thought that their children's children would owe money to the government because we are out of control. There are two words that are mentioned periodically, and I don't think most people know what they mean. One is prosperity, and one is posterity. Now, they sound the same, but they're not. I can only tell you that we are in jeopardy of our prosperity because our posterity is in question. It is a shame in America today when you mention the Constitution of the United States and they look at you like you are crazy. Now, if anybody up here, my ancestors had a problem because at that time we weren't necessarily included in the Constitution. But I got to tell you, that's the only document in the whole wide world that is self-healing. It took into context the problems. Our founding fathers, I got to tell you, were some very special people. They were. And I got to tell you, this is the best country in the whole wide world. I'm only going to say this in closing. There's not a member out here that ever served in the armed forces. We took an oath. We would defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Let's applaud Kevin one more time. Our next speaker is the son of former Governor Bob James, Mr. Tim James from Greenville, Alabama. James was a vocal opponent back in 2003 of the $1.2 billion tax increase that was almost foisted on us, and he helped fight that and helped defeat it. We are glad to have him here today. I did go to his website last night because it was interesting. On his website, he had a definition of the Tea Party movement. He defined it this way, which I thought was beautiful. He said the Tea Parties are, quote, citizen protests against the Obama agenda of higher taxes, trillions in mindless bailouts, and creeping over-regulation of our basic industries such as health care and our banks, close quote. It summed it up.
Wow, what a day. There's only one thing better than iced tea, and that's piping hot tea, and it's hot today. Coming in today, it's a beautiful day to be in Montgomery. Here we are in the shadow of our great capital, the capital of the Confederacy. We are sitting here today in the epicenter of the civil rights movement. It is exciting. It is a good time to be in the great state of Alabama. Thank you for coming out. In the days gone by over the last 3 or 4 months, I've become concerned as you have. We wake up every morning and we read the news, look at CNN. Let me finish. And you listen to these networks, and they will lead you to believe that all is well, but it is not. In the blink of an eye, we have become Europe, and there has not been one shot fired. God help us. We have watched this government take a $9 trillion deficit to about $15 trillion, and nothing has happened. They are undermining our currency, and it's got to stop. And you hear this word all the time. It begins with a B, and if you say it enough, it loses its punch, but it's called a bailout. Let me tell you what that means. You're right about that, brother. But what a bailout is borrowing trillions of dollars from the Chinese and the Japanese and the Europeans and people all over the world, and then they're trying to pump it into this economy, and they call it stimulation. It's not working, but they're taking this debt and they're strapping it to the backs of my children and my grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, and what that means is our children